Hi guys, quick after action report. I went to the military shooting range and we shot at paper targets, divided up in two teams over the day. And first team starts with, well, one of the teams starts with marking the targets and the other shoots, and then we switch. Anyway, so 4 different distances, two 6-shot group each with marking between. And I learned several important lessons today. First one, always check your equipment. I had my ballistic app, I use Shooter. It was set to automatically collect environmental variables from using the GPS and some weather station. The thing is, what you're doing where you are and wherever that weather station is two completely different things. So I had my Kestrel weather station with me and I typed in the numbers and then I got my solution. Only thing was the app had picked some random numbers from God knows where, so I got the wrong I got everything wrong all the time. Not by much, but this shows you the importance with getting density, altitude and temperature correct, because that wasn't correct for me. So let's take for example the first station. It was at 585 meters and I had okay groupings, about 17 centimeters, and I was fairly in the target, but I was off, so I had to come up 3 clicks, but so the solution gave me 39 clicks. But I should, when I checked it again with my, I wrote down the variables. When I checked again, I should have gotten 41, and that would have put me perhaps slightly high. I'm not sure, because it's hard to tell really. The target was half a meter wide, 50 centimeters. So anyway, I was in the target and hit it with my corrections on the second series always. So the correct solution would have put me on target immediately. Yeah, so the next series was 893 meters, and again I was off, and I corrected, and I got my correction correctly because I milled in the reticule and I saw exactly how many clicks I needed to adjust to get it right on target, so that wasn't an issue. So I was constantly about 0.3 mils low because of environmental variables. But the thing was correct, but just because I had that setting set on, it fucked me over on long range. So use the Kestrel weather station and make sure it actually takes your the numbers you type into it. So for example, if I remember correctly, I had a minus 520 density altitude, but the weather station gave me something like minus 600 or 700, so it was off by a bit. And even though it's just 3 clicks, when you're shooting at these ranges, you're off by a large margin. Well, you're off the target anyway. I was always on paper, because the target was like this big, and the paper was, well, something like that anyway. So I was always on target, but on the paper I mean, but I was slightly off target first series, and then I got back on target. So I didn't really perform that well, because another thing I learned is make sure you set up the rifle correctly. When I fired at the last series at 1175 meters, my grouping opened up a lot. It was apparently about 78 centimeters. That's quite large. Even though it's this distance, so 78 centimeter group, 6-shot group at 1175 meters. But that's not the ammo, that's not the rifle, that's the shooting position I had, because I was laying in a field, and the field is plowed, so it goes like this in waves. And I was lying on top of one and the bipod was on the other, and when you shoot at this distance the barrel has to be tilted up a fair bit, so you really have to have long legs on your bipod. So I didn't extend them enough, so I had to really press myself down to the ground, and I'm still in pain in my neck from it. and basically look up in the air with the scope going like this, and yeah, it was totally awkward, and we had 90 seconds to fire 6 shots. And when you're lying down prone, really awkward, and you're trying to find the right target again, when you can't really preload the rifle so you can take up the recoil. That I'm not happy with today's results, but even though I fucked up on several key pieces of this chain that has to work, I still always managed to hit the target and get some shots in. So if it was a moose, it would have been dead, but still I would have liked to have tighter groups. So I had to practice the shooting positions and kind of awkward shooting positions, and be very mindful of the bipod and make sure the legs are correct because they have to be quite long when you shoot long range to get barrel up. And also double and triple and triple check the ballistic calculator so it spits out the right numbers. God damn it. So yeah, so I got this protocol with the groupings and everything really nicely written down, so I can see all my mistakes in nice detail. So that was fun. And so I'm gonna abandon Vitavuori N560 now because I bought a lot of Norma MRP. So I'm gonna take all the empty casings I created today, clean them up, and load up some new loads and start everything from zero again. Go to the range with my lab radar and make sure it's okay this time, and see what kind of velocity I have. I have 4 shots left of this. I'm gonna shoot them and chronograph them at the same time, and then run my new loads and see what the speed difference is in my barrel between the gunpowders, because according to, they're supposed to be the same speed. They're supposed to burn at the same velocity approximately. So anyway, we'll see. That's in the future. Have a nice day, everyone.